Hi there and welcome. My name is Derrick and I am a energy healer and Reiki master teacher practitioner in the state of Colorado, although I work with people all over the world. Today I'm sharing my personal Reiki story and I want to share this with you today because I want to help inform you, help inspire you on your own Reiki journey and just connect today and share a little bit of my own story in hopes that it will help you. So, what is Reiki? Reiki is a universal life force energy. So, a Reiki practitioner channels this universal life force energy and it helps you to energize you with the energy that creates worlds. That's the same energy that animates birds, that makes plants grow, that keeps your lungs breathing and your heart beating, right? Like we're all connected to this, but this is using that in a very intentional way to help promote healing. Um, and just to give you an idea of Reiki is way beyond an energy healing modality, and Reiki is a way of life. And the precepts or the elements of Reiki would be just for today, do not anger. Just for today, do not worry. Just for today, be humble. Just for today, do your work honestly. And just for today, be compassionate to yourself and others. This does become a way of life because if you apply these principles, don't anger, don't worry, be humble, do your work honestly, be compassionate to yourself and others, to all living things, that is a secret to inviting in happiness through a multitude of blessings in your own life. So that just gives you an idea of how all-encompassing Reiki can be. This is something that can really help you heal in all areas of your life. So Reiki has transformed my life in such an amazing way. Um, as someone that I always felt an energetic connection to life and the universe. I feel like I've always had that extra little sense, even since I was a little kid, but I was taught to repress that and, don't use that because this is how we're supposed to do things. And so by the time I had found Reiki in life, I had really went through a lot of struggles trying to fit myself in all of these other boxes that society wanted me to fit in. And so when I found Reiki, it really gave me the way to work with this. It really gave me the way to actually tell the energy where to go. And it gave me a lot of things to really hold on to in life. But as soon as I first started using it, I was a natural. My hands knew where to go. I just understood it intrinsically, how it worked. So it's really changed my life. It's really given me a space in my life that I can come back and meet myself again over and over again. It has really given me a tool to help other people in deeper ways. It's enhanced my energy healing and hypnotherapy practices. It has enhanced my meditation practices. It has changed the way that I look at energy and healing. So it's very powerful. I first learned about Reiki several years ago. I had originally began my spiritual path with Buddhist meditation, Vipassana, insight meditation, and I did that for several years. I didn't really stray from like straight up Buddhist practices. Then as I got deeper and deeper into this world of spirituality and deeper into this world of learning about meditation, learning about self-development, Reiki kept coming up, and it almost from the first time I ever heard about it, it felt like it was pulling me in. And then I had a roommate that was into all things metaphysical for a while, and that roommate really invited me into the world of Reiki, had already done Reiki, but I still wasn't fully all in, like, this is something I have to do. But I felt very drawn, and the more I saw it come up, like anywhere I was when I would see Reiki or I was online, I would see something about Reiki. Like it had this allure to me. And eventually I had went to my acupuncturist and I was getting an acupuncture treatment and I found out she did Reiki. And then I thought to myself, I should learn that. And I did. So then I asked her, would you be willing to teach me Reiki? And she was very happy to do so. And I think we had our level one class like a week later. So it moved fast, but Reiki is always going to find those souls that are ready for it. Initially, I wasn't sure what to think about it. I was very curious about it. Like I said, I felt this allure, but I wasn't convinced that this is like something I absolutely could or should do. I guess I just had never really seen myself in that picture as a Reiki practitioner. Uh, so I really didn't have a lot of expectations going in. Um, I was excited to learn something new. I felt this excitement around every time I would see Reiki, I would feel kind of pulled into it. And now I know that was my future self, like myself from today watching myself on that older timeline, like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to be doing. But so I never even had a Reiki session before I got my level one attunement and certification, which is wild, right? Like I just jumped right in. So it was actually at my level one class that I received Reiki for the first time from my teacher. That same day, I was the practitioner in my first ever Reiki treatment that I did on someone on her daughter. So that was a really eye-opening experience as well. Like the first time I ever received Reiki, it just felt like this calm and this warmth and like I just knew it was doing something, but I couldn't actually tell you like how I would describe it. It was just this knowing and it was just this warmth. So I remember walking out of her office and just being like, wow, she's the real deal. And looking back, it's like that's the power of Reiki, that anyone who's a conduit of Reiki is that powerful. I noticed in the coming days after that first treatment I had, I felt so much lighter. Um, Up to that point, I had felt a lot of heavy restriction, especially here, like in the chest area, from old trauma and whatnot. And I remember just feeling open that next day and like, huh, well, that's interesting. Like, it's almost one of those things where I didn't notice how stuck I had been until I had been freed. So I noticed that. I noticed physically I was feeling better, some stomach issues cleared up. So that was right off the get-go, from the beginning. It just kept evolving from there. So after I got my level one certification, I then started practicing on friends and family, and I was a natural at it. I just felt so in alignment with it. Like, yes, this is something I've been waiting for my whole life. I intuitively already know what to do with this energy. It made sense of a lot of things that up to that point I didn't quite understand about myself. And then the people that I was doing these treatments on in the very beginning, they like even from the first treatment, it was so powerful, like just as powerful as it is today. And the people I worked on, my friends and family that I gave a Reiki session to, they started feeling relief. They started feeling like, wow, that was so powerful. And when can I do it again? And then that's when I knew I have to keep going with this journey. I have to keep developing myself through this and keep progressing through the next levels. Like I already knew after level one, I'm gonna go all the way with it. And so, there was several months between my level one and level two. And I think there really needs to be that period of you practicing it and you familiarizing yourself with the energy. The energy builds momentum up, like it's like going to the gym, right? You go to the gym and you go every day for 2 months. You're gonna start really building some momentum there, and your body's gonna look good, you're gonna feel good. Same with Reiki. You do it every day, that sense in you, that power in you will strengthen. You will open up more to the Reiki energy. So then, a few months later, I did my level two, and I was over the moon for this because I was like, now I'm not. And I should also say level one, the Shoden, that's very much about self-healing. It's about hands-on healing. You can start working with others after level one in person, like right in front of you, but then go on a little bit more. Level two is the distance or absentee healing. And I was over the moon about this because that was what was so cool to me about Reiki was it's like there was people I knew all over the world already. And it's like I wanted to send them good energy. I wanted to help them. I wanted to do distance sessions and meet people all over the world. So once I began doing level two, I remember I was still at a desk job and I hated that job. It was so not me. It was doing medical billing. And so I would, in the afternoons, I had my Reiki folder and I would practice drawing all the symbols on paper to memorize them. And I think I memorized them in one afternoon, and then I started drawing them all the time and really like memorizing them to my core and what each one was for and practicing them. I would do the symbols on video, like just for fun. It was so much fun to me. So then I was a level two practitioner for several months and maybe even over a year. And then I finally told my teacher, I said, okay, I'm ready for level three and I'm ready to start teaching this. So I took level three and the master teacher training all in one. And that after my master attunement, there was so much that opened up for me. I was just so sure of myself. I was so um, lit up for it. I was so excited to share it with people. I Things just started coming to me. The third level Shimpiden is all about manifestation. The master level is all about being your highest expression. It's about becoming magnetic. It's about manifesting. It's about as above, so below. It's about um, really allowing the Reiki to master you instead of you mastering the Reiki. And it did. Like from that point, all of these amazing things just started happening to me. I would go to the grocery store and, I would attract a new client or um, things would just fall into place that had seemed like a struggle in the past, or I would just know something deep down that I had really struggled with up to that point. So, yeah, there's just so many memorable lessons along the way that I learned about myself and that I learned about life. There's different ways I saw myself. I started becoming way more intuitive. Like I would just know something about someone. If I would go downtown and just sit on a bench, someone would walk by, I could tell you their life story. When I would work on a client, I could tell you exactly where, what was in their body. And they're like, how did you know that? It's energy, it's consciousness. Reiki has transformed my life physically. It has, I feel, kept me from aging as much. It has helped me to regulate my nervous system and really get me into that rest and digest state on a daily basis. So I really noticed some weight even drop off once I started really getting into my practice because I was more, I was less stressed and I was more present. So my body was in more of that rest and digest mode and not squirting out as much cortisol. I remember emotionally, I had a lot of releases that I would just be listening to a song and I would start bawling and just all of these emotions started pouring out. But that was so healing because up to that point, I hadn't even been able to cry for quite a while. It was like it was stuck in there. But the Reiki really loosened that up and just started letting that stuff out. And I felt so much lighter every day that I practiced. I just felt lighter and lighter. I got further and further on my journey. I started having a lot of breakthroughs around what I wanted to do in the world. Um, After my master attunement, that's really when I was able to quit my job and do this full time because, and it wasn't because I consciously planned it that way or prepared for it. It was because I had done that energetic work and that put me as a vibrational match to doing my own work in the world. There was also a lot of just things that would come through for me during my self practice or and the same for working with clients too. Like something would come up during the session, and then all of a sudden, that thing would manifest in reality, or you would see a certain spirit guide or angel in the session during a certain chakra or a certain area you're working on. And then there would be like a confirmation in my 3D reality immediately. One time I saw this just really intricate mandala in the session, and then I leave my house and I go to the store, and there's a tapestry of pretty much the same thing. So you'll notice if you start really developing your Reiki gifts, or maybe you already have, but once you really start developing this stuff, it's going to be mind blowing the synchronicities that will begin to happen. Reiki really became undeniable to me from the very beginning. Like a lot of people, and everyone's story is different, and there's no right or wrong or good or bad about any of it, but no matter what you experienced. But for me, it was undeniable from the very beginning. Like, as soon as I had all of those instructions from my teacher of how to work with the energy, then it's like all of this pure potentialized energy that had been really not used in an efficient way up to that point. Now it was like I knew what to do with it, I knew where to channel it, and then I just started seeing all these profound results. It was like it was the missing piece. Some challenges I've had along the way are was really about like being open about what I did with energy to a normal everyday person. That was kind of hard for me at first because I had had this identity up to that point of being a normal person, quote, normal. Like, what is that anyway, right? So I was comfortable to that point with sharing about meditation. Like, yeah, I meditate, no qualms about telling someone that, but it was a little harder for me at first to bridge that gap between my belief and someone else's belief. And so I've learned a lot better ways now to share this with someone who maybe has never heard of Reiki before, but that was definitely a bridge I had to cross at one point was like doing the inner work of the shame within myself that made it quote embarrassing to tell people, hey, I'm a Reiki practitioner, or I do Reiki, I do healing for people. But that was big in me. And I think it was just from my upbringing, like what was normal during my upbringing. I grew up in Wyoming. That's a very conservative place. So, yeah, that came with time though. And that's something that really just naturally healed as I practiced Reiki more. Because when you see something healing on that deep of a level and you see things happening that you can't maybe describe how, but you just know it's real, you don't need that external validation from all of these sources outside of you because you know it deep down. So if this is something you're facing, I just encourage you to keep learning, keep practicing, and keep unfolding. Even if you're like, I kind of want to get into Reiki, but that is an issue, talk to me. Let's work through that. I can help you with that. Actually getting through those feelings to get you to a point where you can start. So Reiki has really helped me evolve. I'm not the same person I was before I got my level one attunement. I'm not the same person I was before my level two or my level three. So each level has evolved me. Each level has made huge changes in my life. So, my mission today as a practitioner and as a teacher of Reiki is to share this energy with the planet. And I'm here to be of assistance as our planet heals in any way I can be. So today I find a lot of meaning in doing Reiki sessions for people. I have clients for Reiki all over the world. I have Reiki clients in Australia, the UK, Egypt, Canada, um, a few other places that I'm just not thinking of right now. But yeah, I've met people all over this planet, the most amazing souls that I've been able to hold that space for them in Reiki with. I love teaching as well, and I find a lot of joy and bliss in sharing this with people, and not only sharing it with them, but teaching them, like giving them the tools to do this in their own life. I am not here to create dependency on Reiki. I'm here to teach you how to unlock this energy and use it for yourself because it's always available to all of us. So now this has been a big part of my life's path is being part of this universal life force energy. And my vision is to empower other people who have big hearts and they're human centered and they want to find a way to support themselves while really deeply helping others. So today I am a teacher. I teach Reiki. I teach quantum hypnotherapy to folks so they can get up to par on the skills they need to really help people. There's also a huge, huge ripple effect with this stuff. Like everyone I teach whether I certify them in Reiki or in quantum hypnotherapy. There's a deep, deep healing that goes on within each soul as they are learning. And as they are learning, they open to more and more truth and more of who they really are. So not only do they help other people with that work, but just their presence, just their vibration is so much higher that it shines light all around them. And so as you're learning more modalities, more ways to heal people, your light gets more powerful. And just by you being somewhere, you are raising everyone's vibration. Once you start practicing this stuff, you can light up your entire neighborhood, your entire city, just from your light, just by existing and practicing. Wow, that's fascinating to me. So I really want to invite you to explore Reiki or explore our QSM modality if you feel called to this. And Reiki is accessible to absolutely anyone who's open to healing and growth. My QSM program is accessible to anyone who is open to the healing and growth. So if right now you're watching this and you are feeling called, let's have a free call. And no, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I'm just going to help you figure out what the best decision for you is going to be. So when you feel called to something, sometimes there's these little voices that come in and say, well, but what about this? Or what about that? Or what about trying to hold you back or discourage you or tell you it's too expensive or too much time investment or whatever it might be. But I encourage you, if you're feeling called at all, reach out to me because I'm here to help you with untangle all that and get to your highest potential. And the investment that I have made in Reiki has been hands down one of the best investments I could have ever made. Not only monetarily, but the time I put into it. But like even just looking at the monetary piece, like I have made that back so many hundreds or maybe even thousands of times over because I teach now. So don't let that be the reason that you're held back from learning a skill like this because that's going to pay you dividends in so many priceless ways. Same with our QSM training. That's a 6 month training where it's going to open you up to entirely new worlds and entirely new avenues that you didn't even know were there for you, new people. It will change your life in such a beautiful way for the highest good of all. So I hope that you give yourself a chance to explore it. Just write down in the comments, hey, I'm curious. We will connect. I'd love to talk to you. So I just want to take a minute and express my gratitude for the practice of Reiki, for the energetic system of Reiki. I want to express gratitude to my wonderful Reiki master teacher, Master Bezek, here in Colorado. I want to express gratitude for you being here and you giving me an opportunity to share my story with you. Thank you. So I'd like for you to connect with me if you're feeling drawn. Let's connect. There's links down in the description to my website. Fill out a contact form, book a free strategy call. Join my QSM community. We talk about Reiki a lot there, as well as hypnosis and other things and quantum healing, but we have a great time. So come and join us and share your own Reiki experiences down in the comment. Are you a seasoned practitioner or are you just kind of curious about it? So thank you so much. Lots of love. We'll talk soon. Bye.